How's everyone doing?
Introductions.
Wow. Okay. Wow. Way to steamroll over me. Speak over a woman.
Introductions. Okay. Introductions.
Hello, everyone. My name is Ka, and I love lesbians.
Hi, my name is Raquel, and I love some lesbians. Not all of them.
I'm Eve Parker Finley, and lesbians love me. And welcome to
Throuples Therapy.
Three friends on a couch with an opinion. It's time for another session. We're not pros, but at least it's free. Better than your therapist. It's Throuples Therapy.
So
You were asking how are we doing? I as usual, I'm just angry that we have to record this so early. So early on a Saturday.
I agree. I'm running on 5 hours of sleep and filled with lesbian debauchery. That's what's
Oh.
keeping me going.
what
Oh
did
my
you
God.
what did you do last night?
Well, I went to Grind Her, the trans lesbian leather dyke cruising party
Amazing.
at Cinema L'Amour, the porn theater.
Where Houdini was killed.
What?
Do you know this story?
Is that
Like
right?
Houdini the magician, when that theater was not a porn theater, when it was like a theater. I mean, like a non-porn theater. Sorry, that was so rude. When it was an actual theater. No, when it was like they did performances and theatrical productions. He did a show there, and someone stabbed him. And then he didn't die there, but then he like got on the train back to wherever, and he died on the train or died on the way back, whatever.
Oh my God.
But that's where he died. That's where he got stabbed
That's
and died.
fascinating.
Houdini.
Do you think his ghost haunts the porn theater?
No, it haunts the train. Thank you for sharing that. That's
You're welcome.
super interesting. But that was also interesting. It's also gonna give away that we release the episodes like 5 months after.
3 years.
But so you had a nice time there.
Yes. It's just such. I was just one point. I was on the dance floor and I was just looking out into like the sea of lesbian debauchery, and it's incredible. I'm like my friend Estelle, who's one of the organizers, recently posted this like Lex post. It was a screenshot, and someone made this Lex post being like, "It's so hard to be a lesbian who's like not into like latex and cruising and anonymous sex, and like you just want to like cozy up and read a book." And I was like, wow.
I thought that was
It's changing. The files are changing. Lesbian identity is shifting.
wow.
And, you know,
And
maybe.
you're a part
I'll-
of that because you went to the event.
And controversial opinion, I'm still a lesbian.
Ooh.
I mean, more so than Eve is. at
I never
least.
said that I was. I've never said that I'm a lesbian. People just think that I am because this is the way that I dress, and that's your fault.
Classic non-binary. Wanna be everywhere, right? wanna be everywhere. Wanna have access to have the master key that opens all doors.
Oh my
Is right? Is that right?
Look, I can already picture the Instagram comments on this clip that will happen.
Good for you. I'm not gonna
The
kick
he-him
anyone.
lesbian debate? Are we going to initiate the he-him
I'm
lesbian
down.
debate?
Let him in. As a spokesperson for lesbians who aren't lesbians. Yeah.
But I'm like, what? Why am I? I was a lesbian for 20 something years of my life, and what? I look too much like a man now? Sounds a little.
Butch phobic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Stone Butch Blues was a lesbian who medically transitioned. I mean, I do have a sex with a lot of men, so maybe that would take away.
If anything, that's the disqualifying characteristic.
But I feel like being a lesbian is like being a twink. It's like more about like it's you know,
It's a vibe.
it's a vibe more than it's we've surpassed boxes.
Do you think you're also a twink though?
Oh no. No. I mean, I have Twinkie moment. No.
Yeah, okay.
I think I'm more of like a cub, a little bear,
Right.
a hairless gay bear.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, the lesbians, whether they'll have me or not, they're doing great. They're cruising. I made a little, what is it called when you, a blue?
You can call it whatever you
Whatever.
want.
I did a little toot and and I said, now that the lesbians are cruising, does that mean the gays are going to start talking about their feelings?
The only thing I have to say about this is like you were mentioning this person who posted, oh, it's so hard to be a lesbian, who like reads a book, and I'll say, it is not hard. It's very easy. Shut the fuck up, with all due respect.
But I think people are.
There are harder things in life, I have to say. That one's easy.
Yeah, but I guess the U-Haul is out. So if you want a U-Haul these days, you got to go back 10 years.
Wow, power shifting.
What type of lesbian are you, Raquel?
Take this BuzzFeed
I
quiz.
don't know. Categories are great for certain types of people who are into categories. I think 2025, to me, it's a bit passé.
Wow, you're so radical.
That's another category. No, I don't want. No, I mean, we've gone over that before. My only type of category is I am a boring person, very boring person, and a Leo apparently. And
assigned Leo at birth.
You're not gonna catch me on a weak moment of lower, like I say something controversial. I'm gonna try to avoid the discourse. I just wanna talk about my lived experience. Besides boxes and categories. For example, in this week, I've gone through a breakthrough on my internal dilemma of should I pursue FFS, aka facial feminization surgery, which I had been thinking about it because without giving too much detail, at some point it looked like through certain type of insurance I could get that covered, and thought about it for a few months. I thought about like, do I need a new face? And I was like, maybe. Maybe. No, like that's something that it's like well received in society, no? Like
to get a new face?
Yeah, I mean we've all heard about Just for Laughs new faces of comedy.
Oh my god.
But I thought about it. I was gonna go through it, and then I realized that there was a high chance that insurance would screw me up. I don't want to lose all my money, and I'm not someone who's into like GoFundMes for myself.
The GoFundMe industrial complex, yeah.
I respect if anyone does it, but to me, for many years, when I saw people doing GoFundMes to get a new face, I fantasized with starting a GoFundMe, getting all the money, then disappearing, not getting the facial surgery, and just hiding, and just taking it easy, quitting my job, just taking 2 sabbatical years, and hopefully that would give me like a better glow up than any surgery.
I mean, then you could just come back and
relax.
Like, did you get surgery? That's like a question people shouldn't ask. So,
like, come back. Maybe spend a little bit of time like getting better at makeup. Or I've decided it's too risky, like money wise. And I told my mom, and she was like very supportive. She would tell me, "Oh, it's okay. You don't need that. You look great. You look good. The only thing, watch out for your weight." Which is like
moms.
Yeah, it's very affirming, right? Like you don't need surgeries to be more feminine, but you're fat.
You don't need surgeries, but you do need Ozempic.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I remember when I told my mom I was getting top surgery, she was also like, you don't need that. My mom, she was like, I've always wanted to be a boy too, but I've never done anything about it. And I was like, what? And her whole thing about like she's very obsessed about she's very upset about my transition, and she keeps saying like, she's like, you need to like have a stable life first. She's like, you just got to get a good job. You have to get married, have kids. And then when you're sure, you transition. And I'm like, wait, you want me to like marry? She's like, yeah, get married to a nice man. And I was like,
Nice man who's okay with who's bisexual. Really, she's
I
like
guess I have to, but I was
standing
like,
by men.
I'm like, I feel like it's so much harder to transition. Anyways, but
I mean, it would be like, you know, if you have that plan, you know, it's like you really know what you're gonna do in the future. Like, I know what I want in life. I want 30 kids. I want a house. I want to become a man by 40 years old. That's an interesting angle that your mom had in there.
yeah,
Yeah. No, my mom. No,
maybe
just
she's
like-
still waiting to transition. Maybe she's gotta have my kids. My kid's gotta. Once my kid has a nice job and is married, then
Oof.
I'll transition.
Then you do like a Caitlyn Jenner, right? When
Like hit someone with their car,
among other things.
allegedly.
Yeah. No, allegedly, no. Like, well, I don't know. Yeah. My decision on this surgery, that was something I that happened to me this week. Another thing was that I was contacted by a certain Quebec talent show because they had seen me perform at a certain Quebec web series.
Why are you being so cryptic?
What Quebec web series were you on?
Well, I
Throuples
mean, I
therapy.
used to. Yeah, technically that's one. No, and they wanted me to go to participate in this TV show. I guess doing a little bit of stand up. My girlfriend is completely against the
Quebec.
idea. No. I'm just wondering, because if you were on a similar
Allegedly.
thing, maybe
Not allegedly.
Canadian
It did come out.
Canadian TV.
Yeah, Canadians Got Talent.
Yeah, speaking about sleeping with a married man.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I found that so bold that you went on national
Me too.
television and sang a song about home wrecking.
You should have seen. I don't know what the hell I was thinking, but the first version of the song that I sent in was so dirty. like that was the much PG-ified version. Like the first version had like way more explicit sex jokes. I don't know why. I just
This
thought that would be fine, but
This is the transgender representation that we need.
well, I think my because of being in queer culture, my barometer of like what's mainstream acceptable was like completely messed up.
Yeah.
So, even this, they were like, and I also understood because as soon as I got on stage, like one of the other contestants that day was this like teacher. So he had like elementary school teacher. He had like 50 of his kids
Oh my god.
in the audience. So I like got out there and I saw that there were like 50 like 14-year-olds. And then I was like, yes, it is a PG show. Like as in like you have to be 7 years old to watch it. Anyway, so here's how I fucked this married man. I can't believe they didn't invite me back. The one judge, sorry. Oh, never mind. I can't say that.
Wow. But do you encourage Raquel to go on?
Yeah.
She encouraged me to go on that one back in the day, and I was like, no. I just feel very out of place in a TV show that all kinds of people are gonna watch, and like
Yeah.
it's, I don't know. I feel like I'm too niche. I'm too niche for anyone. And here's the thing: not all visibility is good, right? Visibility.
Yeah.
Why'd you look at me when you said that?
You're an expert on that, but not.
It's true,
It's
but
weird vibes. It's weird vibes. That's the other thing that like I get recognized these days too much in the city because they see me at a show or whatever, and
it's just the beginning, Raquel.
no, but I'm not making that much money from comedy or anything.
I know.
That's I think the ratio is off. The amount of money that I'm making and the amount of people that recognize me, it's very unfair.
It's
This
true.
is so real, not to like It feels like a silly thing to complain about, but I completely understand.
I
Absolutely.
feel very seen, and I was also telling my mom that, and there she also like threw like a truth bomb, and she said, "You're just too tall."
to hide, too tall to hide.
No, but it is true. It's not that, you know, people might have seen me and whatever, but like I'm easy to spot.
Do you feel like that's why everyone's all like, oh, trans men are erasure, like nobody knows about trans men, everyone when they think about trans, they think about trans women. Is it just because trans men are so short and trans women are so tall? So trans men erasure is actually just
the trans bathroom panic is just because you can see the girls above the door.
Exactly. I'm blocking everyone else from the picture.
okay, but here's the plan, Raquel. You go on the show and then you get really drastic FFS after. And then nobody.
I think you should do it before. Even if you should do it before if you're gonna do it.
Fame is a curse. Fame is a curse that if you're really rich from it, it makes it worth it. But it's
Well, the way that fame operates now is that it's more accessible to more people, but there's less resources that come with it than it used to. Boom.
Yeah, and probably no one is really making substantial money from any of these. So it's, I don't know how I went to the physiotherapist the other day, and she had seen me at Legong show.
Wow.
I love that.
And I'm not sure she enjoyed my stand-up. She was like polite about it. And that
Is this because she was like, because I have this happen all the time, that people are like, oh, I saw your thing, or like, I saw the thing. But that's all they say, and it's like,
yeah.
But some people don't know. Some people don't know how to give compliments about
Yeah.
the art. Not to be a diva, but
So
you didn't like that?
get better at giving compliments.
You didn't like that?
I mean, it's, you know, if you're gonna be like, oh yeah, I saw you there, you better shower me in compliments.
And you were amazing. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Life changed.
Yeah, because if not, it's like, okay, you saw it and you were not impressed.
So you hate me.
Yeah, you hate me, and so that's one of the reasons why I think I'm not gonna do this TV show.
Wow.
Do you feel like being like trans and on these like shows and stuff feels like a bit of like freak show energy sometimes?
definitely.
Like back, like kind of just like
Definitely.
people are so intrigued because you're like, they're like, oh my god, transsexual.
Yeah, I mean, there's a part of it, and I mean, I want any trans comedian always plays around with that and tries to like play around with that perception, and that's cool. But what can I say? It's also weird that I'm saying that in front of a camera, in front of something that is gonna be public,
Viewed by millions.
but yeah, I do think not all visibility is good. Not all attention is good.
Yeah.
It's true.
That's why we do this podcast that is micro-targeted to only like the best people out there, good people that like to argue in the comments of our reels, but in a way that is respectful to us.
Yes. The thing I will say about going on a show like that is really fun. I got way less like attention from it than I thought I would, which is actually kind of comforting for that worry. But the fun thing that can happen, but maybe you won't find this fun, but like a lot of I've definitely been recognized from that show by like suburban women at the airport.
Wow.
Which is like really fun. It's like a fun experience. Wow. One time I was in Edmonton and this woman came up to me with her like 8-year-old child, and she was like, we both loved you on Canada's Got Talent. Again, an 8-year-old child heard my song about sleeping with a married man. And the mother was like, this is inspiration for her.
Okay, that is really cool. That is really cool. I have to confess, I have a certain fear of suburban people.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I've mentioned here before that I rely on public transit. I rarely get out of the city. I have some prejudices and fear towards suburban people. If here's the only demographic group that I would like to start reaching more often. The only one that I would pivot towards, like, pandering to them, is not any kind of Canadian suburbans. The audience that I really want to start engaging with is Brazilian gays.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Oh, careful what you wish for, though, because they're quite intense stands from experience.
It's I think it's a matter of time that I'm gonna start putting out content in Portuguese.
Do you speak Portuguese?
I could.
First hurdle to get over.
I could. Okay.
Oh my god.
I'm a Romance language bitch. I could. And so yeah. So
I love this for you.
I think maybe all of us.
Yeah.
I think if there's any Brazilian gay watching this, please talk to me. Let's talk business.
Eve loves suburban.
Yeah.
I don't love suburban life.
They're just the
but
dads.
I'm
as we know.
actually, yeah, okay, never mind. I'm down. I've had a lot of suburban lovers.
Yeah, the suburban moms that come up to you with their kids at the airport are like, "Oh my god, you're so funny."
And I'm
And
like,
then-
what's your last name again?
Yeah, you're like, yeah, tell your husband.
Or what's your husband's first name?
I did a straight comedy show recently.
Me too.
Oh my god, should we talk about our experiences? I won't get, just this interesting happened where I did my whole set and then it went pretty well, and then there was a bunch of like straight male bro comedians after, and they were like high fiving
many
me
of
after,
them.
and they were like, "Oh, you did so good," and I was like, they're like, "You should do more." They're like, "I've never seen you before," and I was like, "Yeah, I mostly do queer and trans comedy shows." Do you want to say something?
No, sorry,
And
I'm
then-
just excited.
And then I'm like, I mostly do queer and trans comedy shows, and he was like, "Oh, you should do more do regular shows or whatever." And I was like, "Well, I'm a little nervous, like my content is very trans and stuff." And he was like, "Oh, honestly, dude, like I had no idea. Like I thought you were a guy until 7 minutes in." He was like, "You could just pretend like you're not."
Yeah, oh my
He said
god.
that?
Yeah, he was like, you could just not, you could say jokes about other things and nobody would know.
You could pretend
I
to be
really
funny and see how
I
that
re-
works for you.
But I wasn't that offended. He was very like sincere. I
Yeah.
think he was trying to relate.
Yeah,
I had worse experiences that night, but I'm not going to talk about them. But maybe I should. I don't know. Whatever.
Well, this is something interesting, and I wonder how you feel about this, because I've also gotten the like, why haven't I seen you around?
yes.
And what shows do you do? Whatever question, and it feels invalidating a little bit.
Yeah.
Because it's like, just because I don't do a show at maybe we shouldn't talk about this, but just because you don't do like certain specific straight comedy shows,
Yeah.
you're like not on the circuit in the same way, and
Yeah.
I'm kind of like,
I'm like, yeah,
I
I
don't
did this little
care.
thing called JFL. Ever heard of it? I don't know.
oh my
Oh.
Sorry, that's the straightest thing I've done
Boom.
before. No, but it's true. And then I'm also just like, I've never been to that. I haven't seen that many straight comedians, to be honest. And I'm like, do they write jokes? Because honestly,
No.
they're
Okay, here I'm gonna defend the many great straight
There
comedians.
are many great.
There
They're
are
like
many great.
dozens, thousands.
There are
thousands.
many great.
Thousands.
Yes,
Not thousands.
yes. Okay, like there's like open mics and there's shitty open micers. That's not representative of like the vast pool,
No, okay.
talent pool.
Yes, okay. Sorry. This is your ally to the straights.
I am a great ally.
Raquel
of
is
the
a great
good
ally
straight
to the straight comedians.
comedians.
No, it's just okay, there was 3 audience members the night that I was there, and the amount of
That
audience
also would really color your perspective.
the amount
Yeah.
of audience interaction that happened with these 3 people, like I feel like queer shows, I don't see that much audience interaction, but like everybody who got up there, so where are you from? There are 3 people in the audience.
Crowd work is a very straight comedy cultural
But
practice.
I know, like, you're thinking about is mostly there's one person who abuses that, and I know who he is. I know who he is.
No, it was
And
more
that's
Say it
like-
and we'll bleep it. I'm joking.
I mean, that is bad. I
There were
hate
many funny people though. I take it back. Raquel's right. There was many funny people there. There was an Italian man who is very Italian and very funny, and there was many funny people there. I had a great time, honestly, and I was also surprised that people do really like my jokes, but certain ones, not other. It's hard to tell which. It's
I
a
agree.
craft to figure out what the straights
Mhm.
like.
Well, because you have to, depending on the kind of joke you're telling, if it's about queer trans experience, you have to like give them permission to laugh in
Yes.
a way that is tricky to set up without being like, you can laugh.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
then
you
you're
have
like
to
asking them to
tweak.
laugh, which is not what's going to work. And it's
Yeah,
interesting. I fucking killed at my straight comedy show.
I'm
recently.
sure because you wrote a
I don't know if
straight.
it was a straight comedy show. It was a mixed comedy
It's
show.
because
but-
you're straight.
Exactly. I understand the culture.
You wrote a whole song about being a straight girl.
I did.
Mhm.
Called Should I Text Him? Maybe it'll come out by the time this episode comes out.
I was on our YouTube recently. Well, I was looking for our podcast on YouTube. Check us out, Throuples Therapy Pod on YouTube. But I was looking it up because I wanted.
They know.
They're here right now. Anyways, I was looking for us on YouTube. I did the little search, but I got so many Throuples
me too.
videos.
Me too.
Looking at it, but a very specific type of throuple
Yes.
that was like two women and a man. And like often all of these videos, like I just saw like little clips that they'd be like, everyone's always like, why isn't there another man in your throuple? And then I'm like, and then it's like intense music, and it's like, why would I? And then I was like, this is so ridiculous. Like, why is there so many formations like this? Like one straight man and two women.
You know what's funny? Sorry.
No, but then I realize we are that throuple formation. We are part of the problem. We are the one man and two women throuple.
Okay, not to out you, but this is also your algorithm because when I search it, I get 2 men and 1 woman.
Oh my god, really?
Yes. I get 2 bisexual men and 1 woman.
Oh my god, that's crazy.
Yeah.
What does that say about
This is
us?
kind of the dream.
That is what you want.
I talked about it in episode 1.
I feel like that's also what I want though.
See, the internet gives us what we want.
Wow.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
What do you think your Instagram Explore page says about you?
Oh my god.
Should we look at each other? Should we
Well,
look?
mine's over there, but
Yes.
I'll just tell you.
Yes.
I tried so hard to change my Instagram Explore page because every time I opened it, I was humiliated at myself. And then eventually I just had to give up because nothing I did would change it. And now I just have to accept that it's like 3/4 like shirtless men. It's just like softcore porn.
What
And
type?
I don't even look at that stuff. I don't look at that stuff like on my like feed or like stories. I don't know what it just I think follows what else I do on the internet and then just shows it to me so much.
What type of shirtless men?
Like
Eve?
sexually?
Like what do they look like?
Like there's a mix from like buff to not so buff. Like yeah, they're like shirtless and from I would say from twunk to bear.
Okay. I also had an era of specifically like beefy Asian like men, Asian bears. I think I googled Asian bears once to like I was feeling low about myself and I was like I need some representation because I don't see a lot of Asian bears around here. So I like looked up Asian bears and then it was just feed for so long of just like Asian bears and I was like Instagram either thinks I have a very specific fetish or that I am this very specific.
Or they've learned what
Fetish.
category to put you in.
Now it's just all slime videos.
Oh, what?
Slime,
Like
you know,
slime
like ASMR.
ASMR?
Yeah,
Oh,
like
nice.
My videos also sound like that, but for a different reason.
What about you, Raquel? What's your explore page?
And Instagram, because
Yeah.
because I think on Facebook my feed something interesting happened in the last months, which they used to like show a lot of like trans stuff, but like baiting transphobes. So like the comments were depressing. And around the time that Mark Zuckerberg was like, okay, we're gonna be more transphobic.
Yeah. Everyone can say tranny now. Sorry. We can cut that out.
No. My feed changed for the best.
Interesting.
I think because
Mark.
probably the algorithms knew that I was considering quitting Facebook. So then everything is like trans, but very like, you're
go,
valid. Go girl. Here's this wholesome.
Go piss, girl.
Yeah. And it's crazy. It's
Wow.
crazy. I'm very jealous of what the algorithm shows to my girlfriend.
Which
She
is what?
a lot of like visual illusion, like optical illusions.
This sounds
Is it like
closer
stare
to
at
the
this
slime.
video for 30 seconds and then stare at a white wall and you'll see like
Yeah, But-
psychedelics or
The
whatever?
man with the hat. Yeah.
it's like, oh, is this the same color or is it the same shape? Like, to me, that's a very pure form of content. Like,
Yeah, that's like medieval.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like that. On Instagram, I mean, I get some good-looking people that I'm not gonna talk about. I used to get a lot of comedy. Thank God that is gone.
Thank God.
And now I'm getting a lot of maps,
Oh.
maps and graphs because I'm a fucking nerd and I love a good map.
I have a question.
Yeah, Eve.
What was the first trans representation thing you saw as a kid? And what do you think of mine? Because mine was Lady Gaga in an interview saying, "You think I have a penis? I don't care." You remember the old transsexual Lady Gaga rumors?
I do think or like hermaphrodite, I think is, or maybe that's not
That's
an
what they
appropriate
said
term,
back
but
then. Yeah,
that's
yeah.
not an appropriate term, but that's what I remember it being named as.
The rumor was that she had a penis.
I do kind of vaguely remember
And
this.
there's this interview with Anderson Cooper where she's like chewing a diamond, just as like a little sort of, stem. And he's like, most celebrities would denounce like this rumor, but you like have fun with it. And she's like, about me having a penis, I'm not going to give a press conference about whether I have a penis. My fans don't care, and neither do I.
Wow.
Do we think that's allyship?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Me
it is.
too.
That was a great moment. The first time I saw any trans representation on TV was Canada's Got Talent. When I saw Eve Parker Finley's
First.
it was
Took until
was very-
2024.
very inspiring. No. I mean, honestly, that's like a little bit late for the first time you saw like anything trans on TV. Me, growing up in Spain, I guess I was like 7 or 8 years old. I saw La Veneno.
Classic.
Oh, yeah.
And I was so
Canada didn't have a La Veneno. And
I was so traumatized.
why?
Not by every time I saw her, but like there was this time, because she was always on like this, I don't know if you've seen the show, but like this kind of like late night kind of show. And sometimes when I stayed at my grandparents' home late at night, there was a TV in the bedroom where I stayed, so I would watch it. And there was this time, it was crazy. The host was asking like, would you get the surgery? And she was like, no, because all the girls that I know, they had it, they've gone crazy, they've lost their mind. And it's like, and what they do is like they cut off your balls and they put them here. I have memories of as an 8 or 9 year old.
Was this just how it was done in
kid.
like 19?
No,
I
that's
don't
not
know.
what they do. She was definitely fucking with
yeah,
them.
they put it
She
here.
was just
fucking with
being.
them, right.
You were
I think she
And-
was just maybe a little misinformed. which is
No.
fine.
But I mean, and she was like, no, and every girl that gets it, like they're miserable and they're depressed, and I don't want that. And that's something that throughout all of her life, she would always shit talk about, like bottom surgery. Any trans woman that had bottom surgery, she was toxic AF. But like that's a different story. And that's gotta be like one of the first memories of actual trans representation. I was just traumatized. Well, not traumatized, but like as a kid, anytime I see anything remotely trans, it would like I was just hyper focused. There was also like this Japanese cartoon or anime, Ranma. No, you know, there was like a Japanese cartoon about a boy that was cursed, and then when they fall into like hot water or whatever, change genders. And I was like fascinated with that at 6 or 7 years old.
Wow, you had so much misinformation about how transitioning
Yeah,
medically
yeah,
works.
yeah.
You fall in hot water and you put your balls in your armpit.
Yeah. How about you, Ka?
I can't really. I'm trying to think. I've been trying to think this whole time, and I don't.
Like you're watching
Really?
It Gets Better.
I
when
was
you were
watching.
12
I
years
was
old.
watching a lot of It Gets Better videos. I remember it being mostly. There was a few trans people in it, but it was like Pixar Studios, like gay and lesbian and trans people being like, I was bullied as a kid, and like now I work for Pixar and life is better. And I would watch those and like cry. But honestly, I think I'm like really met trans people before really. I mean, I saw Jerry Springer and I had these kind of like those kind of interactions, but nothing that really like stuck with me in terms of like, I remember meeting a trans man for the first time in Vancouver, because I used to go to like this gay youth group and I had gay friends, and I had a gay male friend who worked at a sex shop, and there was this trans guy who worked there. Someone was like, told me he was trans, and I remember being very shocked, like not knowing, and someone told me he was a porn star. And
Buck
I
Angel?
went no, like more like indie alt, like and I remember looking for his porn, and it was like paid because it was more like queer kind of like ethical porn or whatever, and I didn't have a credit card obviously, so I couldn't purchase it, but I remember seeing little clips of it and like having the biggest crush on this trans guy, and he was so nice about it because I would always try to like I don't know, whatever. I was clearly like in awe of this guy, and he was very sweet. He was very just like, baby, yeah. So I remember that incident. But I met quite a few trans people growing up. I was actually a very early non-binary phobic person.
Oh my god.
Not like hardcore, but like when I was like, I think I was like 14 or whatever, and I would have all these friends, and I met my first like they them person, and I was really like, that's too much. You gone too far.
Imagine if 14 years old you would like meet you right now as a lesbian who sleeps with men.
This actually reminds me of a question we got sent
from
a listener. Do you want to?
Yes, please.
Okay, so a listener sent in this question, asking, would you same age, but would you sleep with your pre-transition self? And if so, is that gay?
Would you sleep as your pre-transition
self, but no age gap, like you're the same age?
Honestly, I don't think I would sleep with myself, period. Is that sad? I think I have low self-esteem. I mean, maybe I would. I think it's getting a bit better.
It gets better.
I think me, I don't know. Me now, no, it's too messy. Me pre-transition is too chaotic,
right,
messy.
Right.
But just aesthetically, probably. I mean, there's very few people I wouldn't sleep with. Like, I mean, I have my I have my like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
Like, I'm very excited to sleep with these people.
Yeah, and this is fine.
But I'm into. I mean.
Yeah.
You know, you look at some
we
of the.
know.
I don't know. I'm a horse that takes many a rides. Or a cowboy. I don't know. Would you, either of you, sleep with your pre-transition selves?
I don't know. It's kind of hard to say. because I feel similarly. I'm kind of like, yeah, sure, why not? But and like objectively, like if I wasn't me, I think I would. But now that it is actually me, there's something about it that creeps me out a bit. You know, because I have a thing about sleeping with eggs that just sometimes has felt weird.
That's
to me,
fair.
and that's what I'd be doing. I'd be sleeping with the ultimate egg myself. Sleeping with the egg within.
I think many people feel that way about
Yeah.
sleeping with eggs.
It's just a bit like, do you want to be with me or be me?
Yes.
Yeah. Experiment with your femininity by experimenting with me.
Raquel, would you do it?
Yes. I don't know.
Now who's a lesbian sleeping with men?
No, but I mean, me pre-transition, that very feminine person
Right.
in many ways. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I think there would be like a lovely back and forth. I don't know. I would get along with myself.
Oh.
I get along with myself. I have a good self. I like myself. Sometimes I'm skeptical about how much the world likes me, and then I resent the world. But like, if it's just kind of
Just the two
like
of me.
That's nice. That's a
just
good place
like
to be.
empty island, all of that. I think I like myself.
I have a follow-up question to this question, and I don't
Yeah.
know if it's inappropriate.
Well, let's pass that bridge.
Okay,
a
so
while ago, I
you
think.
and you pre-transition.
Yeah.
Who's the top? Who's the bottom?
Okay, this is literally what I was going to say too. While you were talking, I realized I was like, I don't think we're sexually compatible because without giving away too much, we both want the same thing. And we're both a bit selfish about it, so I don't know if it could work. Although, you'd be surprised.
In my case, it would be compatible. Like, I was like it would be fun. I don't
Yeah.
know.
I mean, I've always been violently bisexual and ferociously versatile, so
Ferociously verse. Wow. Okay.
should we do a quick real trauma, fake trauma, and
Yeah.
then call it a wraps?
Yeah.
Da 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 da. You got trauma. Is it real?
I can't wait to try and edit that into like an actual song that I'm gonna put right here.
Da 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 da. You got trauma. Is it real?
Okay.
Okay, well, it's time for fake trauma or real trauma,
Validate me.
and I think it's my turn. And today's trauma, it has to do with it's something that I thought about it the other day when Ka messaged me, and they just ask, how do you do it?
Like out of the blue?
No, hold on. They ask,
without context.
they ask, how do you do
I
it?
didn't know
How do
context,
you
it's
do
true.
it?
It's true.
And
Like very
I
late at
thought,
night.
How do you
very
do
late
it?
at night, how do you do it?
How do you do it?
And
how do you do it?
And I thought,
Or how do you
I
do
don't
it?
know,
There's so
like
many ways to do
the last text in our conversation, it was like a little bit about life, and I thought it was like, how are you coping with everything that's going on in the world or life? And I gave like a very earnest answer about my strategies with anxiety and everything.
Remember
And
who
then-
you are.
And then they were like, no, I mean doing straight open mics.
Oh my god. How do you do this?
And there we had a little bit of like, the pretty much the same exchange that we just had on the couch, but it was like over text
Without me.
without you.
That's fine.
But that brought back an old trauma that, like, I don't go and do like every single open mic out there or every single straight show. There's a lot of places that I don't want to go, but it's true that compared to like most trans comedians in the city, I do more straight shows, and it's a good question. Like, why do you do that? And it made me think like a memory of like my childhood that I think maybe that's at the root of why I repeat these patterns of going to these shows, etc. When I was a kid, I spent all summers at my grandparents' house, and with an uncle that was only 3 years older than me, so more than an uncle. And
Like a
his
cousin.
nephew was more like a cousin, and when you're a kid, like a cousin that's like 3 years older than you, that you always want to impress them, right? You want to like look cool or make them laugh, etc. And I have this strong memory that I guess I was 10 years old, and there was one time where I said something funny. I said something funny.
One time I said something funny. when I
No,
was
no,
10.
but I remember that was like undeniably funny, and he didn't laugh.
Oh.
And I asked him, "Hey, that was funny. Why didn't you laugh?" And he said, roughly translated, "I didn't laugh so you don't think you're hot shit, so you don't think you're too funny."
Wow.
So that was like conceding that it was funny what I said, but he didn't want to boost my ego.
Wow.
And this is someone that, you know, right now, not on speaking terms with my family. There was family drama. This is someone that at some point later in life had a moderately successful webcomic. So we're like both like comedically inclined. And maybe this
You're still trying to make him laugh.
maybe every time I go to one of these straight open mics, I'm like trying to overcome the fact that there will be people in the audience that are like negatively inclined. Oh, she's a tranny, make us laugh, and then I make them laugh, and then like, you boosted my ego.
But it's never enough because it's not
never
your
enough.
You
uncle.
need your
because
13-year-old
You need your
13-year-old
uncle
to
uncle
laugh.
cousin. You need your 13-year-old
Yeah.
uncle cousin to laugh, and now you're fulfilling that. Wow.
This is your trauma?
Yeah, that is my trauma. That someone, when I was a child, didn't want to laugh at one of my jokes.
Okay. I mean, I think this is real as long as we're not doing that thing where it's like, actually, I was 11 and he was 14. Or like
Okay.
he did laugh a little, but he said it in a slightly different way.
We're not doing that anymore. We need new rules about real trauma, fake trauma.
That being said, I think it's real. I'm like already convinced. Because why else would you be doing so many straight comedy shows? Just kidding.
I think it's fake.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't think a 13-year-old boy would be like, I'm not laughing because I don't want you to think you're funny. I feel like if it was something more hostile,
It's like too wise.
it's too wise. I'm like, if it was more like, I'm not laughing because you're a freak, or I think it'd be meaner or stupider, or like the only thing fun, like I feel like it would be mean. I feel like 13-year-old
funny
boys
thing
are,
about you is your butt.
yeah. It feels too like sensei about it.
Well, I mean, he's already an uncle. Like, I feel like he has already been thrust into a certain kind of maturity that he didn't accept. So I think he would
But-
be able to say something so philosophical.
If he was an uncle, he would probably be saying something that is more homophobic or transphobic instead of something insightful.
Because just when you become an uncle,
Yeah, uncles are shitty.
Okay, so you don't believe it?
I believe it.
Okay, it believes it. You don't believe it because you don't believe like his reaction, but you totally can't imagine myself being 9 or 10 years old and being like, "Hey, what I said is funny. Why aren't you laughing?"
Yes.
Yeah, that part. Yeah, for sure.
So what is it,
Wait.
Raquel?
Is this switched?
Oh yeah, are you the
uncle? Okay, tell us.
No, it is completely real.
Oh,
Yes, finally some real trauma.
Real
wow.
trauma.
And this is why you do straight comedy shows.
Maybe.
Wow. It's
Wow.
like a drama therapy.
Yeah.
Would you ever invite that uncle to one of your comedy shows now?
Whoa.
No. Like this
It's
been
gone.
family drama.
Okay.
There's,
Damn.
and I'm not gonna pay the flights to Montreal for anyone.
I'm sorry I denied your trauma, Raquel.
It's okay.
Your trauma
It's
is
okay.
valid.
I'm sorry.
At least you believe the image of little me being like, "Hey, why aren't you laughing?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now
Wow.
when you catch Raquel at the local straight comedy show, you better laugh.
I'm gonna come to one of your straight comedy shows, and I'm just gonna be in the back going like this, just shaking my head sternly.
And
'Cause then you can
I will
overcome
ask
it.
you, why aren't you laughing? This was funny.
Gotta keep you in check. Just kidding. I'll always laugh.
Yeah, because you're so funny.
You're so funny.
You're so funny. You're so funny.
You're so
It's
funny and so
funny.
valid.
You're so funny.
But why aren't you laughing?
Oh, Raquel.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
Thanks for tuning in. Da, 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 da.
Goodbye.
Throuples Therapy is a production by the three of us. Don't forget to follow us at Throuples Therapy Pod. See you next time. And a very special thank you to Little Cashew